Welcome home, all of my divine loves and my divine lovettes. I love you guys. I love you guys. Listen up, you guys. It's been noted that I have to get this message out. Okay, as you guys see at the bottom left here, and you guys see the title. It's a case of the abuse meets the abuser. Um, give you an example. Someone in a domestic violence relationship. Me use that as a major example because that's what we're speaking. And they did everything possible, that could break that person. And then they finally separate. Now, all cases does not, turn out the same way. But just let's say, for the sake of this message sake, the abuser seeks assistance. They go get help. They go get diagnosis for why they're abusing. They may even go get medication. They work on themselves. And before you know it, years pass by. Hey, a whole decade can pass by. And the uh, the abuser is seeing progress. The abuser is now more open, more peaceful, more tolerant, uh, more forgiving, right, than ever. However, the things that this abuser did still haunts him or her, right? So, in this abuser's mind, if they ever see that person, place, or thing that they abused, in their mind, they would like to have a do-over, or they would like to at least confront the abused, to simply say, I am sincerely sorry, right? Right. And it only makes sense because why? Because that abuser has reached a level or plateau where they're able to be more open and more vulnerable. And they have worked on themselves to this point. And now they feel that their omission will be valid, right? Towards the abuse. So again, a whole decade has passed by. Now, let's come over here and see what the abused have been doing. So the abused have been working on themselves. They have also seek therapy. They have also worked through the tight spots. They have also learned how to speak up for themselves. They have learned to not be so permissible when things are not right. They have learned to not let people walk over them. They have reached a level of zero tolerance for BS. Okay. I'm going to put it in that way. All right. And think about it. The abused have done all of this work for a decade too. All right. Think about it for a minute. Now, they both have done so much work in one day. One day, Mercury retrograde come around. strong and hard. Now, a lot of you guys know about Mercury retrograde, where everything, that we have worked hard for, everything that we put forth effort. Mercury retrograde has a way of bringing it back around in such a way where it will sit you back down. Meaning, Mercury retrograde has a way to bring an old ex around. It could bring old habits back around, and you deja vu it, or you kind of reminisce about it. You think about it, because you don't. If you're not aware, then you don't pay attention right away. But those who because Mercury retrograde, it's not like you be sitting around and say, oh, okay, here comes Mercury retrograde. It's something that we have to be constantly reminded and aware of, that it is something that can bring us back around to the same place at the same time with the same feeling and end up with the same results. What is that? It is Mercury retrograde, right? So if you find yourself, thinking about the old things that you used to do, look at the date and look it up and see for you. It may be time for Mercury retrograde, right? It messes with your electronics, it messes with your communication. It's a lot of chemical imbalance. And usually when two people get together, it's a chemical balance where it can bring that chemical imbalance person back around as well. And you together will be chemically unbalanced, right? So the bottom line here is, now the abuser and the abused all of a sudden cross paths. They meet again, you know? So here's the abused and the abuser. They meet again 10 years later. Say it's a big gathering. They have no idea it's Mercury retrograde, but this person has been on their mind, and the abuse, like I said, the abuse have been working and fighting hard for themselves, to stand up and be strong for themselves. The abuser had worked hard to be open and vulnerable and loving and forgiving, and right. So Mercury retrograde is here. The abuser is here. The abuse is here, and it's a big crowd, and they see each other. Well, the abused continue to talk to whoever they're speaking with. The abuser waits politely because the abuser would like to approach said abused, right? So the abuser waits politely to approach the abused, the person that they really abused in the past. Now, 10 years have passed. So the abuser thinks that this is a beautiful opportunity to say, you know what? I was wrong to you in every way. I'm sorry, right? So the abuser waits politely for the abused to finish speaking to everyone he's speaking to. And then the abuser approached the abused with that story that I just gave you guys. Hey, I always just wanted to tell you that I am so sorry for treating you that way. Now, remind you guys, the story is the abuser meets the abused. The abused have been working on what? Has been working on what? Him or herself, defending him or herself. Um, so this apology is, guess what? Taken as an offense. So the abused does not appreciate the apology at all. The abused now know how to stand up for his or herself. So what they say is, please get out my face and don't ever get in my face again. With firmness. Do not ever come in my personal space ever again. Now, to the abuser, because they have worked on themselves, guess what? They feel some type of way. So now the abuser feels the abuse, right? So the abuser walk away from a scene abused, feeling really how the abuser felt. Now the abused feels as if he or she has stood up for themselves finally. And this, believe it or not, was the moment they both were waiting for in two different ways because they are working in two different directions, which they were doing all the time. You know what I mean? When they went into the relationship, they were both not equally on the same chord. All right. So therefore, there will be discord. So I just wanted to make that clear to any abuser out there. You may want to think twice about approaching the abuse because they may be, or you may be, skating on thin ice. I love you guys. This is where we must part ways. If life, lies, and death pass, you will see or hear me again. Until then, Paul, peace be unto you, and peace be within.